Hello everybody, and welcome back to Certified Collectibles. This is another episode of First Appearances of the Week. This is Wednesday, July 27th, 2022. We'll be giving you all the first appearances hidden in your comic shops today. Now this week we have a pretty good video for you guys. I think we have twice as many as last week. 13 titles in all to go through. I think we have 5 first appearances and 8 honorable mentions. Definitely some books in there you want to pick up for your collection. So let's go ahead and get started for the first appearances of the week ending July 29th, 2022. First up from DC Comics, Young Justice Targets number 1. This features a first appearance of Queen Perdita in comic books. Now, the Young Justice series has definitely developed more of a collector base and fan base over the past few years, and this is the first appearance of a new character within this series. Now, this is not the standalone title series for Young Justice. This is Young Justice Targets. This is a subset series, so it really depends on what DC does with this character. If they bring this character into the mainstay title series or across other title series for DC Comics, this will definitely be more important. But it may be worth picking up the spec on. Like I said, Young Justice does have a big fan base and collector base out there that is growing. So if you choose to pick this one up, it is going to be speculative. Might be worth picking up for the cover price though. Go ahead and grab this one here if you can. If you can't, put it on your B-list, take a look at it later on. Next up from Marvel Comics, Gambit number 1. This features a possible first appearance or cameo of Solars. This also features the origin of Gambit, specifically his path to becoming an X-Man while teamed up with Storm. Now, we typically say with any of these Marvel titles specifically, if it's a possible first appearance, we typically want to get a little bit more confirmation on that. But this also features the origin of Gambit, so it really doesn't matter. You do want to have these origin stories for these popular Marvel characters, and Gambit has definitely become popular with fans. So this one here is definitely worth picking up in our opinion. You do have the origin of Gambit, and you have a possible first appearance of Solars. So go ahead and grab this one here for your collection. Next up from Marvel Comics, Strange number 4. This features a first full appearance of Director None, member of the Blasphemy Cartel. This also features the reintroduction of Shadow Knight, the brother of Mark Spector. As you guys know, the Moon Knight streaming series on Disney Plus, hugely popular, huge success for Disney, and this here reintroduces Shadow Knight, the brother of Mark Spector. You know, it's typically these contemporary reintroductions of characters that are the ones that are brought to small screen and big screen projects. So this one here, definitely worth picking up just for the reintroduction of Shadow Knight, but this also features the first full appearance of Director None. In our opinion, this one here is definitely worth picking up. Go ahead and grab this one. Next up from Marvel Comics, Amazing Spider-Man number 6. This features the first appearance of Sinister Adaptoid, a being equipped with the powers of the Sinister Six. The solicitation states, someone from Spider-Man's past has captured the Sinister Six and used them to create the Sinister Adaptoid, not making it clear if it is a version of the existing Super Adaptoid or a fully new creation. This is also a milestone issue. This is issue number 900 of Amazing Spider-Man. Now, in our opinion, any of the Amazing Spider-Man title series that features new characters, definitely worth picking up. You know, the Spider-Man or Amazing Spider-Man title series, one of the most highly collected and most popular of the Marvel titles. So this one here, definitely pick this one up for your collection. Go ahead and grab this one. And finally from Marvel Comics, Ant-Man number 1. This features the first appearance of a new Ant-Man from the year 2549. Now, the Ant-Man franchise, of course, rose to popularity during the feature films and during the Avengers Phase 1 feature films as well. And this is the first appearance of an Ant-Man from year 2549. This one here may be worth picking up. We really don't know how important this particular version of Ant-Man is going to be, but it's definitely worth specking on these Marvel titles that feature first appearance of new characters. So in our opinion, this one's worth picking up. If you can't get them all though, put this one on your B-list, but keep an eye on it. And now for the honorable mentions. From Oni Comics, Blink number 1. A girl is haunted by a childhood she can't remember until a website streaming closed-circuit footage of rooms in an abandoned building causes memories to emerge. Now, these small press and indie press titles, when they're picked up and optioned for TV shows, feature films, or streaming series, this is a big boon for these particular titles. And you know, you really don't know which titles are going to be picked up. This one here sounds like it can lend itself very well to a small screen and big screen project though. So in our opinion, this one here is worth specking on. Grab this one here if you can for a speculative bet. If you can't, put it on your B-list, but keep an eye on this one. Next up from Image Comics, The Hollows number 1. A scientist attempts to find a cure for humanity in a dystopian Japan where spectral once-human husks prey on the unfortunates who couldn't find salvation in the skyscraper-like trees that now dominate the decimated landscape. Once again, this sounds like it lends itself very well to a small screen and big screen project, and Image Comics has had a lot of their titles picked up over the past few years, especially within the last year or so. So once again, in our opinion, this is probably worth picking up the spec on. This is going to be a speculative bet though, because if it doesn't get picked up or optioned and get into more people's homes, get a lot more public attention on this, it may not go anywhere. But if it does get picked up, optioned, people find out about it, they are going to race back to get the first appearance of these characters in comics, and this is the issue. So in our opinion, pick this one here up for a speculative bet. If you can't get them all though, put it on your B-list, but definitely keep an eye on this one as well. Next up from Image Comics, The Magic Order #1. This is a 6-issue limited series that introduces the Asian chapter of the Magic Order. As you guys know, the Magic Order, very popular, huge fan base, huge collector base for this particular franchise, and this series here introduces the Asian chapter of the Magic Order, so in our opinion, this one here is worth picking up. Go ahead and grab this one. Next up from Black Box Comics, Ninja Kaiden #1. An elite soldier is unprepared to take over his deceased father's company and pet project, the mysterious Kaiden Army, which allows this wearer to see, speak to, and touch ghosts. Now, as we just mentioned a moment ago, these small press and indie titles definitely worth picking up the spec on. You know, if they're picked up an option for small screen or big screen projects, these things blow up, and these typically have small print runs. And this one here does sound like it could lend itself very well to a streaming series, feature film, or TV show. So in our opinion, this is probably worth picking up the spec on. Go ahead and grab this one here if you can. If you can't, put it on your B-list, but keep an eye on it. Next up from Blood Moon Comics, Sulphur Wells #1. A lake-dwelling cryptoid species provides benefits to a small rural community, but is also a deadly presence. Once again, sounds like it lends itself very well to a small screen or big screen project. Blood Moon Comics, though, hasn't had a lot of their titles picked up an option in the past, but that really doesn't mean anything for the future. Because of the publisher, this one here is definitely a little bit more speculative than a couple of the titles we just mentioned. So this one here, you can put on your B-list for now, but keep an eye on this one. If you can grab it, of course, so go ahead and pick it up the spec on. Next up from Dynamite Comics, Vampirella Year 1 #1. This features the origin of Vampirella, specifically what motivated her to come to Earth. Now, we typically don't recommend Dynamite Comics to pick up and hold in an investment account for long term, but this is a popular character, Vampirella, and this is the origin of Vampirella, so this one here may be the exception. You know, we really don't recommend overpaying for this, so if you can pick it up for the cover price and put it in your collection, it may be worth it. This is definitely going to be speculative if you choose to pick it up. Like I said before, Dynamite Comics, not really known for gaining value over long term, but you don't want to pay for more for this later on. You might want to pick it up for the cover price of spec on. Grab this one here if you can. If you can't, put in your B-list. We do think you have some time on this one. Next up from DC Comics, Swamp Thing #15. The solicitation reads, Enter Trinity, an unprecedented being created by humankind's most destructive moment. Now, at this point, we really don't know if Trinity is an existing character being repurposed or if this is the introduction of a brand new character. So do a little bit more research on this before you pick it up. But Swamp Thing definitely has a huge collector base and huge fan base, and the introduction of a new character, especially one like this, may be important in the DCU. But once again, you need to do a little bit more research on this before you can pick it up. The book doesn't come out till later on today, so we can't really give you any more information on that. So do your research on this before you pick it up. If it is the introduction of a brand new character, go ahead and grab this one. And finally from Marvel Comics, Venom #9. In this issue, the identity of Bedlam is revealed. Now, the Venom franchise, hugely popular, huge fan base, huge collector base for this particular franchise. Now, you typically want to pick up any of the Marvel titles that have identity reveals, and this one here has the identity reveal of Bedlam. So in our opinion, this one here is worth picking up for your collection. Go ahead and grab this one. So there you have the 13 titles that we have for you guys this week. 5 first appearances, 8 honorable mentions, definitely some books in there you do want to pick up for your collection. So please feel free to drop some comments in the comment section below. Thumbs up if you like this video. As always, please remember to subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thank you for joining us here at Certified Collectibles, and we'll see you again next time.